Oh man,
Been a hot minute.
dude, it's been way too long. It's like, what are we doing? What have we been doing?
Well, we have been slacking, apparently.
I think the last one that we did was what No,
March.
March. Yeah,
March,
we
March.
did one in March. Damn.
Been a hot minute.
All right, well, welcome everybody to Iceman's Tales of the Humidor. This is yours truly, Nitro, and we're coming to you live from the Trifecta shop, where this is where all the magic happens, and
Or reverse magic, or witchery, if you will.
he said witchery because we don't even know why we're here. Sometimes we try to. You remember that one time when we walked in, or I walked in, you and your dad were already here, and it was almost like we didn't know what we were supposed to do. It was like last year, and I don't know what we were doing. I just remember that your dad was sitting there and he was having a beer. We were standing right over here, and I walked in and we just stood there.
I don't know what I don't like about it, but I don't like it.
About it. And then so apparently we still haven't figured out what we're doing.
You don't
here
like,
anyway.
yeah. We don't
like it. Exactly. So, all right, this week, as you saw the title, we're going to talk a little bit about grip. We're going to talk about this last race night, and we got some cool news coming up. But real quick, our cigar of the day. All right, Ice, you go ahead and tell the friends out there what you got.
The Olivia Hellion Devil's Own. It is a smooth to medium body cigar. So far, as you can see, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, it's got a good odor to it too. To be honest with you,
it has a good smell, and it's light, just like I like it. Just like I like everything else.
And I noticed when you said light, it's got a light. The wrapper, the wrapper is light too.
It's a Connecticut wrapper.
Oh,
so I don't know what that means, but I like it.
I think that's translation for bougie.
Bougie.
That's bougie. So you have the Devil's Own, and I have what they call the CAO, or I'm going to say it's Chow. I could be wrong, but I have the 3 Country. And this is an Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian or Nicaraguan?
It's the wrapper's Ecuadorian. The binder or the wrapper is Nicaraguan, and the filler is Honduran. So this is three different tobaccos in one, and actually it's not bad. Now I'm a sweeter guy, and I think a lot of it comes from my chemo palate, where I need more pungent flavors of things, right? So
it needs to be infused and
yes,
and lightened up for you a little bit.
Yes, but I've noticed that the mixture of this one between the 3 actually is enough to where I can taste the cigar, and it's got
good flavor,
some good flavor, some bean and some vanilla in it. So yeah, this is what we're smoking today. So this is the 3 Country cigar, and I like it. Very smooth, very nice, very flavorful. But it's not one of those cigars where it's like someone hits you in the head with a hammer.
Oh yeah, I have some of those right here in this little deal. If you want to get hit in the head with a hammer, here you go.
There you go.
I'll send you on your way.
It's almost like you did. Yeah. It's funny how you have all those. Obviously, the wizard gave those all to you, and I think he did that for a reason. I think it was more of a let's see if we can blow your mind.
Yes, mind has been blown. We're off the deep end. I'll tell you that.
we're sending it. Okay, and we have intruders, probably mosquitoes. So on this week's edition, we're going to talk about grip. We're going to talk about the last race night this past Saturday, and we got some future stuff coming up. But let's go. Let's go back. We have had some time off, and a lot of it had to do with you guys, you and McKaylin are getting ready for baby. Congratulations, the baby. and everybody's healthy so far, which is very, very awesome. And we really didn't do much to the car. Like your car pretty much sat here ready to go,
rock and roll, ready to go. And we made a major swing in one area, and to say the least, it was wrong. It was not good.
Did the abort button?
There was a way to go, and we went the total opposite way. Not good.
and it's really easy to do in these cars that we're finding out, because if you to find a happy, like a in between, right? Let's talk about in betweens real quick, because you said we had talked about this, and you had said about how it drove when we went to Corpus at the end of last season, right? And then we really didn't do anything different until now. And the first night out, you were having grip problems. It's almost like an anomaly happened where the track just would not allow you to hook up, and we didn't do anything different to the car. Like we stayed with what we had. Tell us a little bit about what your mind was like out there, going, dude.
It just wouldn't hook up. I mean, you get it turned in really good, and what I'm struggling with right now is it'll turn in so beautiful, and then we get to the center of the corner, and it won't stay under you. It'll you start to get back in the fuel, and it ain't having nothing of it.
You know, and these cars, we stumbled upon something last year, and we talked about this for our first podcast, but it's kind of relevant to what we're dealing with this past weekend, right? When you think you have notes, and you think you have we call it
a good baseline.
A good baseline. You think you have a good baseline, and you're like, okay, if the last time the track did this, this is what we did. You would think that it would, and that's not the way it works with these cars that we're finding out. And we found it out this last Saturday, or you know, the first night out.
Yeah.
So talk to us. We made some changes. We kind of went back to the book, and after I harped on you for I don't know about how long, for ride heights
and about stupid straight springs that he wants to run.
Hey man,
you're having all straight springs on your car. That's all I'm saying. I am not stacking a single spring on that car. I promise you.
So is that what we're going to do? We're just gonna roll it like that.
He's
right?
gonna roll it just like that. Hey.
Okay. Well, you know what? So we'll roll it like that. But here's the thing, and that's a good point that you made, because you and I have the exact same car, minus a couple of things. And really, but the cars are identical, and you would think that what happens in one happens in another, right? And that's not necessarily true for obvious reasons. But let's talk about that. On just your car, we made a change, and then we went to the book. We made a change according to the book, trying to find where we're missing something, and it didn't get worse, but it didn't get better.
It didn't get better for sure. And I mean, the first night we had no brakes, so I mean, there was really, mean, it was just a shot in the dark that I thought I needed more, but we tried to put more in it, and it
just wasn't there. Yeah, we talked about tires, and you brought something up that was actually it's important, but 8 or 9 race old tires. Right. In a crate car, you can burn them down pretty quickly. Okay. Obviously, we're going to have a tire issue with the other car, because there is a little bit of a power difference. However, when we put these tires on for the feature, when you put them out there, they still had life in them. And then when you came back in, it still seemed they had a little bit of life in them. So when we look at tires, right, and you can tell the people out there, when we look at tires, how can you tell whether the car is in the track or when the car is skimming the track? Because there is a difference with being in the track and spinning the tires, and being in the track and moving real estate, spinning the tires. But what was your assessment as you looked at the tires, trying to figure out what's going on here?
So for the right rear, it just looked like it really had a lot of sideways motion, if you will. You could see that it was really feathered really hard, and it wasn't really blisters, like it got hot. It was almost marbly, so it almost looked like it was like powdering up instead of like getting sticky and gooey and really really stuck.
So it's like it wasn't being pressed,
right? Well, in the right way. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're really old. The tires we're running are probably 6 to 7 races old. From what I've heard from my sources, is that tires are only 2 to 3 tenths. So 2 to 3 tenths. I mean, that's a lot, but we were almost a second off of everybody else. So it's like, well, it's that and something else.
Right.
So we need to find that something else.
And with 2,700 changes in the rear end, finding that something, it truly is like a needle in a haystack for all of you out there that don't really. I don't want to compromise anybody's knowledge about racing out there, because there's people out there that know way more than we do, obviously. But from what we've understood and what we have found out is that if the car is not in the track, and we go old school to reading what is at hand for us to figure out what the car is not doing besides what you feel in the seat, there's 2,700 things we could do back here. And how far do you go
down a rabbit hole? Yeah. Because you can just fall off the deep end and just go so far that you got bars all twisted off, and then you're binding up the bird cages, binding up the bars, binding up the rear end. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do to get yourself in a bad way.
You said that too, the rabbit hole. These things are a rabbit hole. I don't think
you almost can't hyper focus on something. You can't like say like this is it and then just jump in.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because when we, how often, let's go back real quick. How often do we sit in the shop and go and let our minds just start tailing off into no man's land about what really is going on?
We spent the whole night on Friday night trying to figure out a shock situation, and we still never found the right answer, obviously, because it wasn't that good. But I think we can find a better answer next time we go.
Let's talk about the book. And because I'm still learning about these cars, and you teach me a lot about the cars all the time, and now that I've learned how to do the spring smash and what have you not, right? Some of us old school guys, and I'm just going to say this, some of us old school guys just have it in us to go back to some things. And that's what we had talked about on Friday night. We talked about ride heights, right? And how, your ride heights affect how your car articulates, and how the car articulates, once it gets a certain height or whatever, then the spring kicks in, and then the shock kicks in, and all that jazz kicks in, right? We got back down to what the book says for your ride height. We aren't quite there, because we also found out that spring height, you have to play spring heights with smash numbers to get the ride height to be where it needs to be, and then you worry about, okay, now what's it going to do when we get to where we should start.
Right.
Let's go back to Friday night, and that's what we did for almost 6 hours, trying to figure out how to get the number, the smash number, and the load number to a ride height where the car is actually back down where it works.
Right.
How uncomfortable when you went out for hot laps in the heat race? Because I was in the announcer booth, so I wasn't down the pits. What was your concern, or was it more of, well, we're about to find out?
It was more, we're about to find out. I mean, we were pushing really bad coming off the corner. When I'd get back in the fuel, it would just go straight up the hill.
Right.
And there's nothing I could do about it. I mean, I could slow down and turn more, but that's about it. It was just going straight. I mean, I try not to think about those kinds of things. I try to just drive the car to the best of its ability and my ability, and then whatever comes from that comes from that. I can't really focus on what we did or didn't do wrong or right in that instant. It's
trying to, we have to tackle one thing at a time.
Exactly.
And I think that's the heart. Back in the day when we had leaf spring cars, remember the old Shaky was a leaf spring car, and my first car was a leaf spring car. It was real simple, right? Either we have the wrong shock on it, or our tire pressures are not right, or
with the wrong spring in it.
Yeah, right.
we got too many rounds in the right front. Like, there's a lot of different things that can happen.
Yeah. And then over here you have one thing can make or break, the way this thing is tailor made, unless you know how to drive through that, which we're still learning how to drive through some stuff,
I mean, you just got to drive the car 6 different ways and see which way it likes. And turns out I drove it 9 different ways, and it still didn't like anything I was doing. I spun out. I never spin out. I spun out in the main event, and not the main event, in the heat race. I don't know what I was doing wrong or right, but I said if I'm going to send it in as hard as I can, and if I spin out, I spin out. But at least I tried every way of driving that I know how to do.
So now we're here, right? We're here with the car. And we're not even talking about the black one, but where's your mindset now? Like, where are we going to go back? Besides, get the spring. Obviously, we got to get the springs and get the ride height right. So we got this where we can say, okay, we are where Rocket says the car is supposed to start. Right. That's where we're at. Where's your mind now? Like, where do you go from here, and how long do you go before you make a major change without giving it time? Excuse me, to figure out if it's actually working. Is it you as a driver, not the way? I mean, you got to combine the two, obviously.
Right. I have a special, very special concoction that I'm going to cook on that up on that left rear, and that's going to be the way it is because I think after driving it both ways with it how it was and how we had it this race, I have some numbers in my head that I think it's going to work.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be the best that we got.
Right. Well, and that's where, but we have to try.
Yeah. We can't try what we did last week. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
So the abort button. I will say, because I was announcing, and I was watching you from the booth, and for everybody that was out there able to listen on Race On, it was really. I hope y'all had a great time. We have succeeded in a couple things with the car. One, the bar changes have allowed the car to turn. You are not as tired getting out of the car as you used to be.
Definitely. And it helps when you lose 30, 40 pounds.
There is that.
There is that too.
Do you think maybe there's a left side weight issue?
Hey, left side weight issue. We're working on that right now. We're working on it. We're working on it, people. We're working on it.
Listen, we're going to figure this thing out. The Iceman, the cool thing is that we haven't gone backwards, but something is amiss when the track changed as much as it's changed, because we can't discount. The Corpus was tacky all night long. I-37 the last night when we made the changes to where you were at where we started the season, that track had a lot of life in it, and you went forward, right? The track did change a whole bunch this past weekend and last week, the last race, that maybe we didn't account for that, but I don't know how you would really go out and say, what am I missing here? Because the track is different. Right. I mean, so what's your we're here now, and you've got a concoction, you got some numbers in your head. How far are we going to go before we say let's try this, and then how far do you push the car to get it to work? Maybe the changes that we make, the car is saying you're not driving me right. I mean, that's the hard balance to figure out.
No, so I mean, the number. I mean, first I'm going to try this left rear thing that I got going on, and then there's something going on with the carburetor. I don't know what it is. It just seems flat. So we're gonna get with our carburetor people and see if we can figure something out, because jetting is also 7 to 8 tenths. So maybe we're off on jet size. We're actually gonna throw all that at it this next race. Actually, probably these next two races. This next race, we'll see how it runs. And I'm very confident in the rest of our setup. It's that left rear that I'm really concerned about. And I think the worst part about it is I like a dry slick track, or dry slick or slicker track rather than a tacky track. And we just haven't been doing that good on them. And I don't really think it's lack of driving style. The car just won't do what I want it to do.
But on a tacky track, a tackier track, your car was moving, and that's not your style.
Right.
That's not what you prefer.
But I prefer, yeah.
Let's go back to the carburetor thing. I don't think I have to, man. Only because it's funny, and it may be where, okay, as funny as it was to find out how it was, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what if, because now it's fully working, something isn't right to give you the power you need for the setups that we're throwing at it? What says you?
So the problem I see with that is that we're spinning the tires.
Okay.
So spinning the tires, I should be hitting the rev limiter sooner,
and you're not.
And I'm not. And we've thrown a bunch of gear at it.
Yeah, we do have some gear at it,
and it's really not doing what we want it to do. I mean, it should be at least tapping the rev limiter at the end of the straightaway,
and it's not.
I don't even think we're close.
And if you so Mr. Lawrence, the outlaw, right?
The outlaw.
And when he watches this, we're going to throw a shout out. The outlaw has taught me a lot. He's been with me my whole racing career. and he's pretty involved with what we do here the best he can from where he lives. But we talked about it. I actually brought it up to him, and we were trying to figure out how one or a few other cars are hitting the rev limiter with lower gears, and you're not spinning the tires. You're still not hitting the rev limiter wide open. There is something there. And I'm not wondering if the anomaly of the carburetor actually, because the carburetor, the foot pedal was not adjusted properly. So really, Landon, you were only running
for the whole last season.
all last season.
It was great.
But on the heavy track, the car was moving forward at 3/4 throttle, right? So you weren't you weren't blowing the tires off the car,
right?
Which can help, right? That's the thing. But now that you have it wide open, and we know it's wide open, I'm not wondering, like what your dad said, what you just said about maybe there's a break point in the carburetor when it starts to flow or stops flowing, that it just dies.
Either we're giving it too much or not enough. One of the two. And how do you know that? I mean, spark plugs and stuff, but we have temperature and how heavy the air is and stuff like that. It seemed to run better at Corpus. So maybe we got to lean it out up here or something like that.
That sounds kind of like what happened to me at Vado.
Because it ran better at Corpus, and it's only like 1,500 feet. So I mean,
but it's denser air because it is
by sea.
It is by the sea.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to me in Vado. We went to Vado a couple years ago, and I was out there. I started somewhere in the back, and I was running 11th, and that's where I finished. But I couldn't get the car over 5,000 RPM, and that was wide open. For some reason, it just wasn't. And I had 640. I had 640s in it because that was the biggest gear I had
on a half mile.
on a 3/8, almost half mile, and it wasn't up there, right? And we had talked about it, but I'm not wondering if the same thing happened here when they tuned it where the motor was tuned or dynoed at. The air was different,
maybe,
and now we're down here, and it's not getting
right
either enough of something, because it happened at Vado. Royal Jones comes over to me and he says, "Hey, who's the driver of this car?" And I said, "That's me." And he says, "Hey, what happened?" Because I was just back there just farting around, And I said, "I don't know. I couldn't get the car over 5,000 RPM, and that's wide open. And with a 750, right, and chipped with no chip in it, you should at least
know,
yeah, right." Yeah. And he said, "Well, did you add did you take away some fuel?" Because
the exact same thing we talked about 3 weeks before that.
And we never did it. And I said, we were flooding the motor out. I'm not wondering, but if you're spinning the tires, see, this is where it gets not complicated, but you're like, okay, what rabbit hole are we going to go down and then work on it?
Well, the rabbit hole that we're going to do is call the carburetor guy that we got it from and see what he says. Hopefully he gives us some tweaks and twists to it to try to get it better.
Because a dyno only does so much.
And the guy that dynoed, they set up the carburetor for our altitude, and then it went to the dyno, so there might be a difference there. I don't even think the guy at the dyno messed with the jets.
With it. He just put it on. And
because the guys that we got our carburetor from, I mean, they already set it up. Basically.
So it is quite possible that it's still short.
It's not enough for too much. One of the two.
Something is
air bleeds, squirters, something.
Well, we are definitely gonna work on it. And once your dad gets back from Florida, he's down there with AJ at the
Slay J.
He's with Slay J at the
Five Flags.
Five Flags. First time he went to Five Flags. So, well, and so that's the update of what's going on with the car. This is what happened last weekend. With the car.
I got one pretty funny story.
Oh no, sit.
So, getting ready for the main event, my boy Evan, he strapped me in, holding the flashlight, all that. I get all strapped in. I go, and he's so worried about missing the fireball race that he's like, okay, can I go? And I'm like, okay, fine, you can go. So he goes up, starts washing it, and get in the car and I press the brake pedal. It goes almost to the floor. And I'm like, not again. Not again. This is 2 weeks in a row of lost brakes. So I'm over there beating and banging, trying to get their attention. Then I was like, okay, well, I got to get out of the car. So finally, I threw my Hans device on the deck, and finally, Evan sees me, and he runs down the steps, and I'm like, come here. Like, you're going to come help me. But he was trying to get away so bad, but we got the brake issue fixed, thankfully, right before the main event. But
yeah,
it was pretty funny.
That was a deal thing when the brakes went.
We're almost going to have 2.0. No brakes 2.0.
That wasn't fun. That wasn't fun at all. But yeah, we got some things we're going to do to the car. We're going to definitely look at the carburetor. We're definitely going to look at the suspension, because these cars are very, very, I don't want to say they're overly sensitive to shocks and springs and everything like that, but they are enough where if you miss it just enough, you may not go to the rear, but you're not gonna move anything. Yeah, you're not going to go anywhere. You know, unlike a 305 sprint car. Real quick, Michael raced last weekend in 305s, and he had a pill draw of like 86. And yeah, and so he started back in 12th, and in a 305 sprint car, there's just not enough power to move forward. 360s, there's a lot more power, and you know, you can wing the car a little bit and get it to move. But so we got a lot coming up with what we're going to do in the shop. We got one of our trailers is almost completely built for the other car, which is what happens when you don't have a job. You have a lot of time on your hands, and we were able to get the trailer built. Got some few things to do. The fenders came in, and we got to get the fenders on, and then real quick, Mama McKayla. We have a couple more weeks.
2 more weeks. Two more weeks.
You
got to actually. I think it's 13 days.
Who's counting?
Me. Me. I'm counting. Get that baby out of her.
So Mama McKayla and Landon, you guys are going to have a little one. We don't know what it is yet.
Boy or girl, you never know.
Boy or girl. Well,
everybody's waiting. Everybody's on an edge.
So if it's a little boy, that's going to be Little Ice.
That's Little Ice.
Oh, Uncle Natural's good. That's Little Ice right there. Because we funny story about nicknames, right? So C3, one of your sponsors, Aaron and his wife, C3 Speed Horses, amazing couple, and they breed some of the best race horses around. By the way, they had a baby Bubba, they have a baby Landon, and then I just was like, we were over there and we were, one of the mares she was pregnant too, and they didn't know who what it was going to be. And I said, well, if it's a boy, it's going to be a little Nitro. And it came out to be a little girl. So Aaron and I were going back and forth. I was like, man, that's a male. You can't really have a girl named Nitro. I mean,
can't really do that.
Can't do that. So we named her Nitra.
Nitra.
And I believe Nitro was a goddess of something. If not, I'm going to make it up so it sounds good. So we have a little Nitro. So Little Ice. If it's a boy, it's a Little Ice.
Little Ice.
If it's a baby girl,
you got to think about that one.
Little Queen, because you know what happens when they get to be teenagers and they're
hey, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Ask your sister.
I don't know about that.
Ever since she was ready for a credit card and a cell phone.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying.
Ready to go.
So that's really cool, man. I'm excited for you guys. So let's get up to date here with what's going on. I did throw a little plug in there. I've had a rough time the past month and a half, right? And I don't like to put it out there like that, but sometimes when things happen in life, I do want to thank you and your mom and your dad and my girlfriend Jennifer for surrounding me and making sure that I don't get too far off the path here. But we had some cool help the other day. Performance Bodies, a couple months ago, we had Alec Braun. Alec Braun is the son of Scott Braun, and they founded Performance Bodies, and they donated to Relief for Troops, and which was really cool because they want to help out the cause, because they have a charity that they have also. We're gonna help out with that, and so they sent us some money, and we as a board at Relief for Troops made the decision to donate some of those funds to the Motor for the black car. And then some things happened in my life last month that I was not counting on. And so the other day before yesterday, Tuesday night, I'm at a meeting and for the American Legion, and we happened to be, this is crazy how fate works, man. We were sitting there and we were talking about the car. I was asked about my car, when are you going to get out there and what have you not. And I said, well, I don't know. I just, right now I got to get this job stuff squared away and what have you not. And a text message not 30 seconds later came across my phone from Mr. Chris Workman. And he said, how much do you need? Obviously, I'm not that type of guy. And I said, no, don't worry about it. And he ended up Venmoing and sponsored the rest of this motor. So I want to put a shout out to Chris Workman, Relief of Troops Performance Bodies. You and your dad have put to this car recently to help us get us here. So I want to thank you guys personally for that. And Shanna, she's the one that pays all the bills right here. So I want to thank you for helping me out and what have you not. So we just put the bullet in the car.
Literally 30 minutes ago.
30 minutes ago. That's why we were a few minutes late, because Landon decided he wanted a hug on the transmission underneath the car. You and your fat
or you wanted to leave me underneath the car with the transmission. One of the two.
I don't know what you're talking about. You looked very comfortable.
You said just relax.
Just chill out.
Just relax. Let's just take a break. No, I can't. The transmission's on my chest.
I know. See, this is why we don't need drones or cameras following us around in the shop, because
don't need it.
I don't know how incriminating our lives would be with all the dumb stuff that we do. So we just put in the we just put in the super motor in the black car, and we're gonna start getting to work here a little bit. You got to go take care of Mama. I'm gonna tinker around on a few things, and then I've got to leave. But we have a lot going on in the shop, man. I think that I don't want to say the racing has the spotlight of racing has kind of dimmed a little bit with everything that's going on, but I think that it's kind of like it's not as pressing right now because of all the family stuff.
Right, definitely. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it in some ways it makes you to where when we do get to go, enjoy it, because we don't get to go that often anymore. So it's really nice to get out there and go do it and appreciate it, because we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of family things going on.
We do have a lot of family stuff, and to be a part of it's real humbling for me too. I really enjoy Emerson, and then your sister just had Everett, and so it's really a big family thing that we do in our shop. So that's one of the things I like about what we do here and what you guys do here as a family, is that we have racing. It's fun. It's entertainment. Our heart is in it 100%, but it doesn't consume us to the point where we feel bad if we miss a race.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people, I remember when I was young and I started, I was like, my first race, I didn't even have the oil in the car, and we had it on a trailer going to the track. And I was young and I just had to go. I'm going, and then
one way or another.
Yeah, one way or the other. And I blew that motor up that night because one, it wasn't my motor. I blew that shit up. so, that wasn't fun. But over the years and everything that you guys have taught me here is about patience and to do things the right way. And it's plus when you don't have a lot to do on the cars, it's kind of like there is time.
There's time
for other things.
Exactly.
And when it comes time to work on a car, we work on a car. But if there's nothing to do on it, or if we take and manage our time wisely and get the cars ready, then there's rest of the weeks to
just hang out, go swimming, do whatever you want. We'll barbecue. Last race, the race before this one, we weren't there because I had my diaper party here. Mm-hmm. And everybody was trying to get me to go, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
We had 3 drivers in the garage. Landon's like, I'm not doing it. And then we're like, okay, well, Aaron's here.
Aaron's here. We can get somebody in the car.
Yeah, we can put someone in the car.
Nope, we're not going. Damn it, we're not. I told you we're not going.
We were adamant about it too.
we were gonna actually schedule that. We were gonna schedule that on a different weekend, but we were racing on both weekends, so I just happened to choose that weekend. Well, they ended up canceling the late models that weekend before.
Yes.
So I was like, I should have scheduled it for that. But whatever.
But it works out. But. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that which is cool about doing the podcast here from the shop is we get to tell people we could show people, listen, we go hard on these cars when we have to go hard, and then it helps us manage our time when there's other things that we know we can do to it, but it's not pressing. I couldn't imagine being on the road with like the World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil. Those guys like hammer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that unless it paid all my bills,
you couldn't do it. I
couldn't do it.
Yeah. If it paid all my bills, I'd definitely be there.
Yeah. Hey, look. Hey, they make toter's homes that have nurseries.
Yeah, exactly. Hey.
You just expand that one out and just put you go do you, and I'm gonna go over here and do this.
Exactly.
I'll give you the check when I win, honey.
Here you go. Here you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good stuff. Well, so let's talk about what's coming up on your graphics. We don't
They got a gosh darn graphic.
Purple's not your color.
Purple's not my color. Aaron, thank you so much for the graphics. Gosh darn it. If it just came out right the first time, it'd have been great.
Yeah.
Aaron worked so hard, and I really appreciate it. It just happened to print wrong.
It print wrong.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so we don't have any graphics on it, but there will be graphics on it. Well, Aaron's supposed to race the car this next time, so he said he's not putting graphics on it. We're trying to get him to put graphics on it because it's actually his wrap that he used to run. So like if he if he stuffs it in the wall, he can bring new graphics. Exactly, they're done.
That's the perk of having That's the perk of having your own equipment is you can make your own.
My best sponsor. My best sponsor. C3 Speed Horses and CNC Graphics.
I just me personally, I'm really stoked about the fact that the cars are moving in a direction. This one over here, we might have it for the 17th. Yours, it's not.
Oh no, you're going on the 17th. You're going one way or another.
So I got to get a 5-gallon can of.
You got to strap a 5-gallon can to the back of the car.
I don't have any. The fuel.
This guy decided to take his fuel cell out. I don't know if it was Monday or Sunday. I don't know which one. Easter Sunday of taking fuel cells out, or if it's the Monday after Easter taking fuel cells out. Evidently, he just had to have that fuel cell. Patience. There ain't no patience in that. I'll tell you that.
Well, let me tell you what happened. That was because I had too much patience and time on my hand. Right. I came over here because I was going to run an errand for your mom and dad, and so I came over in the morning and I had done some work online, and I said, well, let me just come over here and let me just wash the car. Let me do something because I have to have shop time. Everything I've been going through this last month, and I'm it's not a pity pot, but it really brings you down when you can't do what you've always been able to do because of other things out of your control, right? And I washed the car, I washed the floor, I straightened up I just went to town. So here I am going, I got another fuel cell, and I've always wanted to use my nice,
pretty wedge cell.
Mm-hmm. I really wanted to, so I was like, well, it's probably going to be another 4 or 5 months before I get to go racing because I don't even know what's going on, right? So,
Mom said what you could have done is clean the pool. just saying, you could have cleaned the pool.
Okay, so pool boy, huh? All I had to do was be told to do it. I mean, is it ready to be cleaned? I mean. Oh, so we're gonna do it Saturday. We're doing a boil on Sunday. So yeah. So here I am. I'm at the shop and I cleaned out underneath there and I pull out the Man of War, which is the fuel cell that I have. And I'm like, God, it's gonna be a while. Why don't I just take it out? Just do it.
Just take it out.
Yeah,
right now.
So I spent about 45 minutes studying how I'm going to do this without having to cut bars on the car. And I was like, well, I just cut the 2 back hangers. So I get the grinder and the sawzall out. And I took the bolts out and I cut the brackets, just the 2 tabs that I'm going to weld back on, and the fuel cell falls. Bloop, and it's hanging there, right? And then your dad calls and says, "Hey, by the way, the tires are ready."
Midway through.
Right, midway through. So I was like, okay. So the fuel cell's hanging here. I go and I run, I go get your dad's truck squared away. I get back here and I pull the fuel cell out. So I said, okay, I got a plan. Tomorrow I'm going to come over here because I got nothing else to do. That's what happens when you don't have a job. I come over here and start working on it. Well, I was doing some work on a server at home, so I didn't get to come over here. And then I go to the meeting, and all of a sudden, we're blessed.
Blessed.
So
yep.
I go and get the motor. I brought it home today, or I brought it here to the shop today, and I'm going, I don't think there's ever been a time where I had a motor and no fuel cell.
Yeah. That's
I'm not going to be, I'm going to be honest. So I was like, we are in a conundrum.
Conundrum. Right, definitely. Deep in one.
And I happened to leave the gas open on the welder.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any gas for the welder. So I got 2 fuel cells sitting here. I don't know. It's a mess right now, man. But really blessed. And I'm really looking forward to tinkering on it. And hopefully we can make the May 17th race.
We'll make one way or another.
So real quick, what we got coming up. The next race is May 17th, I-37 Speedway.
Yep. Aaron will be in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll try to get Aaron on. Maybe we'll try to get Aaron on the podcast, and then I'm back for the June race.
The June race. So we'll do Iceman's Tales from the Humidor, and we will ask if AA Ron will step into your spot, and we can talk about the night. And that sounds like a great plan. So May 17th is next race. You can see it on Race On. We will be here working in the shop. We're going to start doing video. I haven't done it, to be honest with you. I kind of feel bad, but now that we're here, I think this will be a good time for me to get some footage of me working on the car and us doing some stuff, and then we can start posting that stuff. Well, when life happens, crazy, man.
Exactly. Life happens,
and it happens really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks, you're gonna be a dad.
2 weeks, I'm gonna be a dad,
and for the next 18 years of your life, you're.
We don't know what it is yet. It might be a boy or a girl. Never know.
Hey, I will just say that your security clearances and accesses have been revoked.
You've been revoked.
You're
done.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight, Landon? I don't know. Let me check. Let me ask the 2 bosses now.
Yeah.
I got a program director and a deputy now.
I'm the assistant manager. I'm the assistant manager of the family.
And no employees.
No, zero. Zero employees.
The question is going to be, have you negotiated your salary for this?
It's called negative 25,000. It's probably about where it's going to stand.
Oh my good Lord. So, all right. Well, we're getting close to our time here. It's been an interesting month and a half in life and with the car. We'll go ahead and start doing some footage and stuff now that we got some work that we get to do. This thing is not over here collecting dust, and we know that there's some things we got to fix over here. So be on the lookout, everybody, for a lot of footage coming up. And May 17th, raceon.com. You can watch it. We are going to finally get the GoPros going, so we're going to try to stream to Iceman's Tales of the Humidor channel your races, and then we'll figure out if we can make that happen, which would be really cool to have some in-car.
I think the last time I had a GoPro, my car hit the wall, so GoPros might be bad luck, but we'll figure that out.
And
just saying.
Oh, good Lord.
Lap 1, turn 1, heat 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't fun.
That was a fun night.
That was
I still got the footage. You want to post that? It's about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and
You can see my hands scrabbling for dear life.
Looking for the abort button.
But somewhere in here, can't find it.
Can't find it. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to the changes that we make to your car, and hopefully we can get you moving forward now that we know that the accelerator is actually adjusted properly. Before he was trying to put a hole through the firewall, and yeah. So with that being said, cigar of the day, great smokes. Go get you some. You've got the
definitely smooth to medium. Yeah. Good.
Very good. And you had the Demons.
The Olivia Helen Devil's Own.
Devil's Own by Olivia Helen. And I had the Chow 3 Country, because I figured out, I don't know why I did this, but it's called the 3 Country Cocktail. So by CAO. Extreme Cigars. So go and check yourself out some. And real quick, tonight in Seguin, Texas at Big Chief Cigar, Rocco's going to be there from Gearheads and Guardians and some of the ALR riders. They got a cool thing going on over there at the cigar, or at the Humidor in Seguin, called Big Chief. So if you guys are there, go ahead and check that out. With that being said, I have nothing else to say. Mama's sitting over here saying that it's time to go. And I got nothing else, man. I think this was a good, fulfilling one. With all that being said, this is this is the Iceman over here. This is Nitro. Tales from the Humidor. We'll catch you all next time.